Ireland's story begins long before human history, over 400 million years ago. At that time, what we now know as Ireland was split between two separate landmasses. These landmasses were part of what is known as La Russia and Gondwana, ancient supercontinents that existed in a world very different from the one we know today. As the Earth's tectonic plates shifted and collided, these two landmasses slowly drifted together. This monumental collision caused the land to buckle and fold, creating the mountains and rugged landscapes that are so characteristic of Ireland today. The remains of these ancient geological events can still be seen in Ireland's mountain ranges, such as the Mourne Mountains in the north and the Wicklow Mountains in the east. But the geological story of Ireland didn't end with the formation of its mountains. Around 10,000 years ago, as the last ice age began to melt away, the glaciers that once covered much of the island receded. This process left behind the rich, fertile soils that would become the lush green fields Ireland is famous for. It also created many of Ireland's natural landmarks, such as the Burren in County Clare, a unique karst landscape formed by the dissolution of limestone. The landscape of Ireland, shaped by millions of years of geological activity, set the stage for the arrival of life. First plant and animal life, and eventually human beings. Ireland's story is not just one of rocks and ice, it's also a story of people, culture, and myth. The first humans arrived in Ireland around 12,500 years ago, at the tail end of the last ice age. These early inhabitants were hunter-gatherers, living off the land and its resources. They were a resilient people, adapting to a harsh and ever-changing environment. Archaeological evidence, such as tools and remnants of their campsites, provides us with glimpses into their lives, but much about them remains shrouded in mystery. These early people left behind more than just tools. They also laid the foundations for what would become one of the most distinctive cultures in the ancient world. As the centuries passed, these early communities developed their own traditions, beliefs, and ways of life, many of which would evolve into the rich cultural tapestry that Ireland is known for today. But what makes Ireland truly unique is not just its physical history, but the stories that have been told about it for millennia. Ireland's mythology is as old as its hills, filled with tales of gods, heroes, and mystical creatures. One of the most famous of these myths is the story of the Tuatha Dé Danann, a race of godlike beings who are said to have ruled Ireland long before the arrival of humans. According to legend, they possessed great powers and knowledge, and they brought with them the arts of magic, craftsmanship, and war. The Tuatha Dé Danann are often depicted as both gods and ancestors, embodying the natural forces of the land. After their defeat by the Milesians, another mythical people, the Tuatha Dé Danann were said to have retreated into the otherworld, a mystical realm hidden from human eyes. Some believe that they became the Ease-She, or fairy folk, who still inhabit the hills and mounds of Ireland. These myths were more than just stories. They were a way for the ancient Irish to make sense of the world around them, to connect with their land, and to preserve their history. Today, these tales are still celebrated in Irish culture, from the poetry of W.B. Yeats to the vibrant festivals that honour Ireland's mythical past. By around 500 BCE, a new group of people began to arrive in Ireland, the Celts. Originating from Central Europe, the Celts were a collection of tribes known for their warrior culture, intricate art, and advanced metalworking skills. They brought with them a new language, new customs, and a new way of life that would profoundly shape Ireland's future. The Celts were not a single nation, but rather a loose confederation of tribes who shared a common culture and language. In Ireland, they established powerful clans and kingdoms, each ruled by a chieftain and bound by complex social structures. The Celts were also skilled farmers, and they introduced new agricultural practices that helped sustain the growing population. One of the most significant contributions of the Celts to Ireland was the introduction of Ogham, the first known written language in Ireland. Ogham was a primitive form of writing, consisting of a series of marks made along the edge of a stone or piece of wood. It was used primarily for inscriptions on gravestones and monuments, many of which can still be seen in Ireland today. The Celts also brought with them a deep spiritual tradition, centered around the worship of natural forces and the veneration of ancestors. Their religious practices were closely tied to the cycles of nature, with major festivals marking the changing of the seasons. These festivals, such as Samhain, the precursor to Halloween, and Beltane, are still celebrated in some form in Ireland today. From its geological formation to the arrival of its earliest inhabitants, the origin of Ireland is a story of resilience, adaptation, and deep connection to the land. Over thousands of years, Ireland has been shaped by the forces of nature, the footsteps of ancient peoples, and the power of myth. Today, this rich history is celebrated not only within its borders, but by the Irish diaspora around the world. Ireland's influence can be felt far beyond its shores, in the music, dance, literature, and traditions that have spread to every corner of the globe. Whether it's the haunting notes of a traditional Irish ballad, the intricate steps of an Irish dance, or the warmth of a gathering in an Irish pub, the spirit of Ireland lives on in the hearts of millions. The story of Ireland is not just a tale of the past, it's a living, breathing narrative that continues to evolve. As we look to the future, the origins of this small but mighty island remain a source of inspiration, mystery, and pride.